Damn, Ingenious made the beat. Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I'm, of course, your host, the casual one, Coach Steve. Join with me sometimes. Let's see, we're missing somebody right now. My co-pilot for today, Coach Wash, CEO, founder of the Coach Life Podcast, and brand about building your brand. How we doing, Brody?
Man, we doing good. I feel a lot of pressure today because we don't have Coach Luna, so I gotta find a way to drop the dimes.
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be plenty of dimes that are gonna be dropped today. Plenty
Oh
of dimes
yeah,
gonna be dropped. We got a
yes
special
sir.
guest, a really special guest on today. Really excited about this brother. Again, like-minded people in small circles. It's a small world. It's a very small world. Professional barber, probably the top tier elite barber right there. Coach Josh Hopkins. How we doing, Brody?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you are a much requested individual, sir.
Yes, sir.
So definitely appreciate you taking some time out to come kick it with us for a little bit and chop it up with us about, just the Coach Life podcast
Mhm.
theme, essentially, that coaching background. So before we get into kind of the overall theme of everything, I want to kind of get into your background a little bit. But before we get into that, I always like to throw a little fast five in there to just for people out there that don't know you, just to kind of get to know who you are a little bit and, kind of just pick at Coach Josh a little bit. So I'm gonna throw 5 questions at you. You
Okay.
give me your answers, as quickly as you possibly can.
Okay.
With a little detail.
All right. I got you.
All right. First question. If you could pick one place in the world to vacation right now, where would it be and why?
One place in the world, Tokyo. And
Oh,
yeah. So I'm pretty well traveled. I choose Tokyo because when I was young, I found a love for electronics and technology. When I tell you I was taking everything apart, stereos, back in the day we had the Iowa stereo systems.
mm-hmm.
Had those. I'm taking
Hmm.
apart VCRs and everything. So I just became fascinated with it. And I know that in America, we think that we're up on technology. But when you go to Tokyo, China, and stuff like that, they are on another level. And I want to see that. I want to experience it on top of wanting to learn the culture as well. I hear they're very nice people. They're very structured, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to implement that into my life as well, and just learn a little bit more about another culture and another, more people than I've learned so far. But yeah, that's my number one.
I love that answer. And that is definitely on my bucket list, bro. That's
Hmm.
definitely on the bucket list. More for anime, but we'll get in there later.
Hey, look, Dragon Ball Z. That's the only one that I know about it. That's my favorite.
My man. You kind of dipped into my second question already, which what if you could pick um one foreign language to learn, what would it be? I'm assuming I
It,
think I know the answer to that, but
it would be Spanish.
really?
Yes,
Now, would it be Spanish like now because you're in Colombia right now.
I am. Hmm.
So I know that's not a different that's a little bit of a different Spanish that we talking right there. So where you're saying just Spanish in general, or you want more specific to where you are?
No, Spanish in general, because once you can learn um, the basic conjugations, the general conversation. The
Hmm.
only thing you really have to do from that is just to learn the slang.
Essentially, right.
Yeah. So everybody, there's a base Spanish language, I believe, that people speak and you can understand each other. Just
Mm-hmm.
like, in English, we have broken English, but we can understand each other in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing with that, you can travel across the United States. There's different places that speak Spanish. You can go to Central America, South America, and you can go to Spain. So for me, that would be a great language to learn. On top of it being um, a cherry on top for careers. You get paid more when you're bilingual. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
what language do most people ask for when you're bilingual?
Absolutely.
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
There you go. See, looking at it from multiple different facets. Multiple
Yeah.
different facets. Awesome. One guilty pleasure food.
Oh man. I'm from Chicago, so I gotta go
Uh-oh.
with
What do you got?
I gotta go with my Italian beefs.
There you go.
Dipped.
Thank you.
From where?
Dipped. They gotta be dipped.
Thank you. Thank you. For those people that don't
Mine,
like dry beefs.
no, I can't. That's no.
That's
Look,
disrespectful.
throw it
No.
away.
Right.
But mine is coming from Portillo's.
Yes.
Okay. OG
Yes.
classic. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
OG classic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's the number? Give me a top three.
Yeah.
Top three.
We'll add this into the questions.
Ooh.
Top three Italian beefs.
Are you gonna hit me straight with Italian beefs?
Yep. Top three Italian beefs. I know you
Oh
done had
man.
multiple different ones from Chicago.
Yeah, most of them is like outside of Portillo's, they from like little small mom and pop shops.
Those usually be
Um,
the ones that be the
They
most be the
they
hit.
best, bro. Those
do.
are the ones that hit the
They do.
most.
And
Yeah.
I never know the name of them.
Just you smell it, you pull up.
Yeah,
That's
true
And
it.
they
enough.
and they got and
True
they got
enough.
everything else in there. Pizza puffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's all
when I tell
Chicago.
you, there was when I used to live out west off of Division of Hardin, there was a spot that was right off the corner. Uh, is that yeah, it's Pulaski. So that's Pulaski and Division.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
There's a spot that was right there. I don't know if it's still there, but they had some fire Italian beefs.
I can't think of the
Man,
name. And I feel like I know.
yeah.
I
It's
know.
you know
Don't
what
ask me the name because then I'll be lying to you.
you know one that I know we going on tangents right now, but
Go
we're
go
talking about
ahead.
Italian beefs right now. But there's one on the west side of Chicago, and it fell off hard. But back in the day, Abe and Thomas. I don't know if you remember, it's on Chicago
Okay.
Avenue.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right on Chicago Avenue. Is and say Chicago Avenue and like Central.
You know who
I'm
I liked?
familiar with that area.
Um,
Not too far
Ice.
away.
I got a
Which one?
spot.
Which one?
I got a spot. Now, really, I used to go for a whole little situation because they had the ice cups, the Italian ice joints,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny's,
Oh,
I
yes.
do remember Johnny's.
Johnny's. Yes,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Look, you took me back. Hey, look, I'm from the South Side. My South Side fellow folks, they gonna kill me.
No, you
But
gotta
hey,
keep it real though.
hey, man.
So since you said that, I'm gonna make this question for Uncle Remus or
Mm,
Harold's.
mm.
They're gonna kill me. Look, I'll take a G pan all day. Give me extra sauce.
My man.
give me a
My
G
man.
pan.
Let's go.
I'm gonna have to go with Uncle Remus.
Man,
Talk to
I've
me.
been telling I try to get my wife to understand this, but she's a hardcore South Sider. So I understand. I get it.
Yeah,
100%. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's
It's
better.
just not better. Yeah.
it's
Just saying it's better. That's all. We'll just
Look,
leave that
because
there.
I could go deep into it, but yeah, we can leave it there.
We'll just leave it there. We didn't even gonna talk about the sauce.
all right. I
That's
know
a
we
whole
got
nother
it.
story.
We
We got a pod to do. Now I'm getting hungry right
Mhm.
now.
the sauce is better, but we got one more thing we got to touch though.
What's that?
Pizza.
Oh, the question
Oh
five then.
man.
We'll just go there because we'll just go there.
But then you tell you it's two different types of pizza.
True.
We gonna stick with the regular. We ain't talking deep dish. We'll ask deep
Okay.
dish second.
That's more so
So
tourists,
That's
right?
tourists.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it is.
everybody
It
outside
is.
Chicago think we just eat deep dish all the time. I'm like, no, that's for y'all. We
Yeah.
eat it occasionally, but we not eating deep dish all the time.
nah.
So now I'm gonna have to take it back to the South Side and go beggars.
I knew he's gonna say Beckers.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah.
Hey,
I,
Wash.
but you
I'm
know
not gonna
what?
lie, bro.
I know you flipped too. You the Mary South Side.
I'm
You
not saying
flipped
it's
too.
bad. I'm
Hey,
just saying it's good
home
pizza. All I'm
home
Look, who
saying.
you
run
going
in.
with?
Home run in, man. They're the originals. Beggars is really a knockoff home run in. They just added cheese. And I can tell they tried to duplicate their sauce.
They added a
But it
lot
ain't the
more of
same.
everything. This is
Look,
what I'm.
I'm
This is
just
I'm
what I'm
extra.
just
saying, bro.
saying
I mean,
they
they just
taste
extra
good.
toppings without asking for extra toppings. But I got to say, me personally, I'm a sauce guy, so
Mm.
I don't like a ton of cheese on my pizza. Like I don't need extra cheese. Now, if you like a ton of cheese, Beggars make sense to me. The
But
flavor of
see,
the sauce with Home Run In is better to me.
I've never had a lot of cheese
Mhm.
on my biggest pizza though. I've had a ton of cheese on my home
That's
run
like
in.
one of they slogans.
They
That
do lay it on thick.
they lay it on thick. That's what they always talk about. That yeah, we gonna load it up. I'm like, I don't need all that. I ain't trying to be clogged up, man.
It
Home
is a
run
lot,
in is a
Hey,
lot.
but
look, they are definitely in my top three.
And that garlic butter crust at home run in, you can't touch it.
it's up there,
Hey,
bro. I just had a home run in
Don't
pizza a little while ago, so
I had one when I was there a week and a half ago.
I
I'm trying to
understand.
figure out when the next time I'm come home so I can get some.
Yeah, just touched down real quick. But
Yeah, yeah, that's all.
home run in, you can order. I mean, it ain't the same,
Yeah, it's not the same, so I don't.
but it is close enough. It's a good fix for me. You can get them down here at
Right.
HEB. They got them
Yeah.
frozen
Yeah, I
at
heard.
HEB. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, nah,
Well, since we've ended the last Fast Five with all food, I am
now I'm
extremely hungry
hungry.
right now. I am starving
Now I'm
right now.
hungry.
So that being said, let's go ahead and just go right into upbringing right now. Coach Josh, take us through your upbringing. How did the man, the myth, the legend become?
Oh man, I'm originally a Southside native. I grew up two different, well, close to the same area. So one is 75th and King Drive. Y'all know about that area. You know, on the corner of 75th and King Drive is where they used to have the players' balls at.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to stay there on the stoop, on the porch, watching that, running around, going to Washington Park, all of that.
Coach Josh,
Yes.
for those who don't understand what the players' ball was and the environment that was shown, can you briefly describe it without getting us canceled? What what that scenery kind of looked like?
It was a show. It was what you would see. Okay, so imagine the hood version of the Met Gala.
Mhm.
I would
Perfect
equate it to
description.
that.
That
Yeah.
perfect, perfectly described.
So we here with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even though I was young and I didn't understand exactly what was going on, I knew about the culture and I saw a lot of what went on. Even living out west, sometimes I'll run into what's buddy name? He always drove the green caddy,
Oh, Bishop Don.
Don Juan.
Yep.
Mhm.
One of the coolest cats you'll ever meet.
He
It's
will
like
meet anybody.
literally anybody.
Yeah.
But man, when I tell you they could sell water to a well, salt to a slug, but it's like it was a different world. It was just like looking. you sort of looked up to them because you saw all the glitz and glamour of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely a solid part of my upbringing, like seeing stuff like that. Growing up in the 90s, 80s and 90s, that was my thing.
It gave you a do you think it gave you a jaded perspective on what life was supposed to be?
No, because it was a short glimpse in the grand scheme of things in
Mm-hmm.
my upbringing. Um, I moved around a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
lived everywhere from the hundreds over east. I ain't living, I guess you can call it the low end. I was in Bronzeville.
Okay.
And then I moved up north, like Northwest. I went to Schurz High School for a little bit. Um, yeah, I was just all over the place. But my experience with growing up, it was a little difficult as most of us in the city, is not a place for the weak.
Mm-hmm.
So moving around a lot, dealing with the gangs and all that stuff, you either stand up for yourself or you get beat up and hey, you just become a victim.
Right.
So, it instills a different type of mindset in you and how you move around.
So having all those different experiences and being able to like literally you've moved around all these different areas. Like, was this something that mom and dad were moving us around, because, of work situations, or this was just we were just moving around just to
No,
move.
so I grew up in a split household.
Mm-hmm.
My father, I really didn't see much of him, and my mother, she would deal with this one guy, and he have us all over the place, and she would follow him behind her. And as a kid, you don't got a choice.
Right.
You gonna shut up and you gonna go where your mother taking you.
Right.
So, we ended up where we was at, and you just had to deal with it. Some places like 75th King Drive, that's where, me and my grandmother and, my cousins and everybody stayed at. And then we were on 74th and 76th in Langley. So I spent a lot of my time there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of them things where it's like, sort of like the Chicago version of Crooklyn.
Yeah, man.
So so we lived on a cul-de-sac. So it was a dead end. So every kid on a block knew each other.
Yeah.
Every parent
Mm-hmm.
on the block knew each other's kids, and it was a time where I see your son doing something bad. Don't make me get your mama. I know exactly what it is.
Yep.
Man, that
Absolutely.
that culture so
Yeah,
lost. Man, the village.
I miss that culture.
That was
yeah.
So
That was,
growing up in that particular area, you got a chance again to be, and I think we said this a few pods back, like it was the whole village there. Like
mhm,
everybody was there. Everybody, kind of helped out. All the parents knew each other. All the
yeah.
kids were playing together. Like you had a very immersed culture
Mhm.
at that point. Was it like that in every area that you moved into, or was it just in those select areas that you were in?
It was just in those select areas. So those two intersections that I gave you, the 75th King Drive, 76
Mm-hmm.
and Langley, it was like that. But that's because of the people that stayed in those areas. So you had the older
I would say
people
older
who,
community.
yeah, the older community, they were really about family. They were really
Mm-hmm.
about structure and respect. Now, another area that I lived in was on 54th and Paulina. It wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot what grade I was in, but I was a little bit older, and kids are literally running everywhere. Like now, the kids know each other, but the parents, they don't care what you're doing, just as long as you bring your butt home by, the time the lights come on.
Street lights come on, you be on the
Yeah.
porch or
Yep.
in the house.
So sun up to sundown, we out playing around, and nobody really cared what you was doing, just as long as you wasn't getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of stuff that was going on that we saw that we shouldn't have been seeing.
Yeah.
So, that kind of molded and altered some of the kids' lives as well.
Now you get a chance to see that because, again, I know Coach Wash has been in that situation. I mean, I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I grew up on the west side of Chicago. You get into a mode where it's either this is the path that you're gonna follow, or I'm gonna do something different. So what was it for you that made you say, I'm gonna do something different?
I had that deciding factor, that experience when we lived up north. So we live literally across the street from Roosevelt High School, if y'all know where that's at.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't in the game, somewhat affiliated with the GDs, but it was because one of my best friends was one, and I was the neutral that was cool with everybody.
Right.
So it was one day where he was like, get down, I can plug you with the chief. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I hung around him all the time. And I talked to him. He was like, yeah, we set up. And when I tell you that next day, whole block is on fire because he got his his back blown out. I was like, what? That's what this about? It was like, hey, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because at first glance, you see gangs and you see them all running together, and they look like friends and they got each other's back, and that's a big thing, especially for kids who come from families who don't look after them.
Right.
There's no type of structure or anything like that, so you find the closest thing that looks like a family.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw that, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I'll stay neutral. I'm like, but I still could have been that knucklehead that got into it with all into the other stuff, and I could have went down a different path.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, you was covered with that. That ain't nothing
yeah,
but God.
because if
Man,
he
that time,
didn't,
man, that's
yeah.
a different path for you completely.
And
Very much so.
unfortunately, it took the loss of somebody's life to get me to learn that that's not the life for me.
Yeah, I always speak to that. I tell people, everybody looks at this in a literal sense, but there's always birth and there's a death. Or something leaves before something comes. So unfortunately, that's normally how it goes. There's a loss
Yeah.
in order for something else to grow.
Unfortunately, that's just the sad, honest truth.
Cycle
Yeah.
of
But
life.
exactly, circle of life.
that's life back at the crib.
Man.
I hear it's a little bit more wild now, but that's what it was when we were growing up.
Yeah, I just
Mm-hmm.
listen to what they say. I got no reason to go back. I mean, we're gonna get the food we looking for, but
Yeah,
get
like
it right
I'll
above
go back
God.
to see family and go eat, but hanging
That's
out on the
about it.
block, no, I don't even
Yeah.
club, so that's not even an option.
Yeah, most of my family out of the city at this point. They either passed away or moved out. So
Yeah.
I ain't had a reason to go back for a while. Like really just be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the family is in the burbs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very, very little that still stay in the city, and even when I go see them, I probably wouldn't stay around that long.
Well, when you know better, you do better. And
Facts.
again, when you know you got other opportunities to move someplace else and get yourself out of that situation. I mean, that's something that my father did. He was like, the moment we got an opportunity to get up out the hood, we gone. So
Gone, man.
So let's
And ain't
go.
nothing wrong with it.
And that's that right there. That right there, bro. That's something that has stopped a lot of people from really understanding. Like this person got out.
Yeah.
Like it didn't become a statistic. Like this, it's really easy to become one of those.
Yeah.
Do something different. So in a way, unfortunately, somebody had to lose their life for a lesson to be learned, but at
Mhm.
least the lesson was learned and something positive came out of it because you made a transition and started doing something better for yourself. So
Mhm.
let's talk about that transition. So once we started hitting that slope and we started saying, all right, this is the path that I want to start moving down. Now, we out of high school. Where do we go now? Where does Coach Josh go coming out of high school?
So out of high school, so mind you, I said that I went to Schurz when I was in high school. I went there for I think the first semester,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had to move to Dallas and go to. I went to high school down there. So after I finished school there, I ended up coming back to the city, and I went to Robert Morris,
Yeah.
and that's because I ended up getting a full ride basketball scholarship to play for them. And I don't like school, to be honest. But I did what I had to do. I used them like they were using me, and I finished with my bachelor's in 2.5 years, and I got up out of there.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
man. Congrats. Again,
Yes, sir.
some people
Appreciate it.
don't finish. Don't
That is
finish.
true.
A lot of
Some
people
people
don't.
don't. Exactly. And
Yeah.
Changed
again,
majors 1,000 times.
man, again, I'm just glad that again you pushed through and got to the finish line because again, like we said before, a lot of people don't finish. And
Mhm.
even when having a scholarship, some people still don't finish.
Yeah.
Like they're paying for you to be here. Like at least
Mhm.
finish. Like at least do that part. So I'm glad you got a
Yeah.
chance to actually like finish.
And I think it's on each person and the type of life that they want to live or their determination and discipline. Excuse me, because I lived there, I didn't get a chance to live in the dorms like the out of state kids
Hmm.
did. So I had my own apartment. I had a part time job. I did work study. I was on scholarship. Had to go to the games, and I finished school. So even though I didn't like school, I know that I didn't come back to the city for no reason.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be one of those people working, the BS odd and end jobs that just it resulted in nothing. And back then in the early 2000s, people thought that you was on if you worked for the CTA
Hmm.
or
Oh
you worked
yeah.
for Pacific
Yep.
Union,
Yep.
Yeah.
and everybody was
Those
getting
those are
kudos.
popping
Oh, you work for the
jobs.
CTA,
That's a
especially
popping
if you
job.
Right.
if you drove one of the trains,
Yeah.
Hmm.
you
Oh
was
yeah.
good. But I didn't want that. So, I did what I had to do.
So you finished up college. Now, what was the mindset after college? Like where do we want to go?
Um, well, my major was in telecommunications management with a minor in computer networking. So again, I'm in the tech field.
Hmm.
So my goal was to get into that field by any means. So I did ended up working a few, BS jobs. I was literally handing out flyers working for a jewelry store downtown just
Hmm.
to be able to get through to I could get my foot in the door working for somebody. And just so happened I ended up landing a job with Redbox at the time. It was a bit of a tech job, but um my brother's brother-in-law from his wife's side, he hooked me up. So again, like nowadays, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Yep.
Didn't we just have a pod on that?
We just talked about that.
Okay, just saying. Please
So
continue, sir.
he he hooked me up. He got me in, and I finally got my chance. And this is after like what 6 years? I graduated in '06, so I really didn't start working in tech until like real tech until like maybe 12, 2012.
And people need to understand that like that's common for a lot of
Yeah.
people that come out of college that get a degree in a specific field.
Yeah,
A lot of us ain't in the field that we went to school for until much later on. Some of us don't even get
yeah.
into the field that we were
I
that
was
we
gonna
A
actually
say that.
lot
did.
of
Yeah.
a
So
lot of people don't.
exactly. So the fact that you got a chance to actually experience being in your actual field, that's
Mm-hmm.
again, that's kudos, bro. Kudos. So you get into the tech job or what's more like a tech job at that time.
Mm-hmm.
What what was it about that job? Like did that keep your interest? Like now you had made it to the quintessential mountaintop, right? Like I made it to
Yeah.
what I want to make it to. Was that like enough or was like did you see like yeah, this ain't where I really wanted to be?
So at the time, I felt it was enough because that's the most money that I've ever made, which was
Mm,
at the time, I want to say maybe 50K, which is good at that time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And granted, I had to drive and close to an hour there and back or each way because that was at the time where I lived off the division at Hardin. And
Mm-hmm.
my job was going past Fox Valley Mall.
I use an Aurora.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
man.
in
It's
Aurora.
Aurora. Yep.
So it was a
Ooh.
hike.
Get that
So I was
ugly
like,
88 traffic.
Right,
when I
right.
tell you,
Man, that
and
toll
then
be up
having to
too.
come back to 55 or 290, man, that was terrible.
I was gonna say, bro, don't take 55.
No.
You're gonna be there, you might as well just spend the night.
Sir, everybody trying to dodge the tolls.
But getting around the toll, well, I mean, rush hour, it don't matter where you go. You take the E-way, you take the
Nah,
toll, you can take the streets, everything is jam-packed.
yeah. And ain't really nowhere around tolls in Aurora from over there. You're
No.
not
Yeah.
dodging it.
So
Man,
I did what I had to do. But I can say I loved it because I felt like I was actually doing some real work. I was fixing problems. And I'm working face to face with people. I'm talking to everybody from end users to working with company execs. So at that
Mhm.
time, I felt like I was doing something, nobody else really in my family was um, that educated at the time, nor did they have a real career.
Mhm.
And I did that. So I felt, somewhat accomplished. So at that time, yeah, I was happy and I was proud of, what I've done so far.
And
man. So
then go ahead,
yeah,
Wash.
no, I was just saying that's just locking in and getting to it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just having your mind set on something outside of your environment, and that's something I wish a lot of people had. But I remember when I moved to Bolingbrook and I liked it, but at the same time, there's a lot of people I couldn't stand for the same shit that we shouldn't be glorifying in the city. It's
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
like they chasing it. It's like everybody want to be, claim this, claim that. I'm like, y'all not gangsters. Y'all
Like,
not.
Yeah,
bro,
It's like this. It's birds chirping out here. We got lawns and shit. Chill out.
yeah,
yeah, like you get to play out here. Like you don't
Yeah,
like you get to go around the block. Like I had to be within a
man.
six house spread. So like
yeah,
go to the six house and come back. Like
Yeah. So
it's
to
different.
yeah, so to be able to escape that, I don't think people like really understand
mm-hmm.
like how like I feel you like did that's the biggest accomplishment for anybody that make it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Like
huge.
the kids
And
and
then
people out there, they don't know the fear of
no,
what's coming through a gangway.
no, man, stuck. Stuck.
Immediately.
But but aside from even coming from that environment, the not having a structure, like just moving around, it's like you found it yourself, you created it.
Was that innate, or was that like that was just something like? Is that something that you saw in somebody and wanted to emulate, or is that something that you felt like that was just something that was innate in you that like that mom instilled in me?
Yeah, because that's kind of like the gap I'm trying to cover. Like, where'd you get it from? Based on what you described, moving
Because
around.
right, because you just got a motor and he just been doing
Yeah,
like
So my I didn't see it in anybody. But mind you, I was sort of like you and Travis. Like when you was going out, he was coming in. So that was the same thing with me and my brother. So how I got that scholarship was from my brother, my older brother. He talked the coach into giving me a full ride.
okay.
So it was a blessing because I got senior riders real bad. All I wanted to do was go to lunch period and play sports and talk to girls. That's all I wanted.
Living the
So it
senior dream.
showed, yeah. But yeah, so my motor is when I was little, I lived in a lot of shelters. So living in shelters, going from place to place and being surrounded by complete strangers. And at the time, it was a battered women's shelter. So kids over the age of 13 or up, they can't live there. So my older brother had to go live with other families. So it was now just me, my mother, and my little sister. So now I'm placed in a position to be the protector. I felt like I had to protect my mother, even though I know she was, older, supposed to look after me. I feel like I'm supposed to protect my mother. I gotta obviously protect my sister because I don't know who's who's a friend or who's not. And I knew once I got older, I didn't want to run into that again. I I never want anybody else to experience that. I don't want to experience that again. So I did whatever I needed to do to keep myself in a position um, to have my own place. And if that took me going to school to get a degree, playing basketball so I can keep that scholarship, working and all of that, hey, that's just what I got to do. So when I tell you I'm taking buses from the south side all the way to North Riverside just to work a third key job, that's what I got to do.
Man.
And then once I finally got my chance and I'm working in IT now, I got my own place and now I got, my own job and I'm good.
I made
I
it.
just had to keep it going.
Man, your why was very big.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Your why was very big.
Situations force them to grow up a lot faster than you needed to grow up. But it was needed at the time because of the situations that you've gone through. So it definitely progressed you significantly so that you can be further along than most people.
Man, it's crazy because I think about this from, coaching and mentoring and kids today that don't see these things. And even kids today that are in similar situations, like we said before, the village ain't there anymore. Even in those neighborhoods before, there used to be more of a village. And that, that was something I was fortunate to have when I was over in K-Town on the west side. Like I lived next to my grandfather. He owned his building. He owned the building we were staying in. I had I had uncle down the street. I had aunts not far. And even outside of the bloodline, just like the older cats on the block that was there, like my pops, he was known because he was, he was doing this thing as a shorty. So, everybody in his age group that was still around is like, cover. I was a Bebe kid for real. That's my father's nickname, Bebe. That was there before the cartoon came out. You know what I'm saying? So, me and my brother, but like today, it's hard to paint a picture for kids to understand. Like,
Yeah, they don't.
uh, yeah, paint
They
the
in the
picture
house.
to yeah, they have no idea, and the exposure is less. Even though we got the internet, ain't nothing like that real life experience that you survive when you got
Mhm.
crime around you all the time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's a different perspective. So making it and understanding the importance of not indulging
yeah,
is it's just hard to paint the picture, man. I get stuck trying to explain this. It's like I don't want you to live it to understand. I just need you to listen,
yeah.
you know.
Yes. Yes.
And
But
with
it's
my
hard to tell
kid,
somebody that think they know everything.
yeah. I'm fortunate with my babies. Well, I can't say babies. I'm gonna always call them babies. I'm
I was
14,
say, bro,
14 to
your kids are
15.
older than
They,
mine.
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm glad they always grasp everything I told them. They never had to see any of this. And yeah, and they grateful, and they work hard. It's
Mhm.
like, break this cycle, keep moving this way. You ain't
yeah,
never got to see that. But
Mhm.
the ones still there, you can't. It's like harder to get through to them. Just like you
oh yeah,
said, you hearing like it's wilder now. And I thought we
Mhm.
thought the 90s was bad.
It's it's
they
funny,
just out here doing everything.
Ain't no
right?
code though. But even
That's the
then,
problem. That's the problem.
even then we had codes. Like I was telling somebody not long ago, I was staring down the barrel of a gun when I'm like 8 years old. They looking for one of my cousins come to our crib.
What?
They about 7, 8 deep. And Jay Hill, ooh, Pops came down, stood on it. He was right behind me. He ain't had nothing on him. He's like, Jay ain't here, but y'all need to get off my porch. But
Yeah,
they already knew it was different then, because they were told a certain thing and they operated within that.
Hmm.
So
yeah,
that was the respect for him. He was known, and then they had who they were looking for, which
Right.
unfortunately is my cousin at the time. I won't say unfortunate because he made it out.
Hmm.
But
yeah.
little do they know we had moved him out the state completely already. That was in Mississippi. But
Hmm.
yeah, today I'd be gone. Me and my pops probably be gone. It
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
been it
Absolutely.
wouldn't have been no discussion at all.
because there's no respect, there's no protocol that's followed.
It's just a lot of loose cannons, man. But I'm
So
still hopeful though.
Yeah,
we have to stay hopeful. That's the whole reason why we coaches, bro. That's the
Yeah,
whole reason why we coaches. We got to
yeah,
keep coaching. Um, my boss says this like a, a billion times a day, 7 to 11,000 times. That's how many times you got to tell somebody something till it actually sticks. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for some, you only got to say it once. For some of us, we only need to see it one time.
yeah,
Coach
yeah,
Josh, you got a chance to, like I said, have a lot of life experiences and been able to make the right decision multiple times over. Where a lot of people, that's kind of where they lack, right? It's like consistently, that word,
yeah.
consistently making the right decision or consistently moving in the direction that you know you need to move in.
Yeah.
What was it again? You like, how did you stay consistent? Was this stuff intentional? Like, were you being intentional about being consistent, or was this just like, again, just how we were moving?
Um,
I
you
guess
just
I could
talking
say,
about
like,
like just
do
the
you know how you were moving? I guess is the real question.
yes and no. So I knew that I wanted to maintain a good job or a good career because, and it wasn't even to live a certain lifestyle. Like I never cared about like cars and designer stuff, and I still don't to this day. And I've made a nice amount of money, since I started working. So it was more so about just, I guess, being able to maintain um, uh, a healthy life in a
Hmm.
sense of, I guess, a less chaotic life.
Yeah.
I gave
Type of
myself
comfort.
structure. Yeah, I know that if I keep myself in line, I keep working, I can provide myself with what I need, but I can also help others that's in need. Like if I needed to help my mother, I could help her. If I need to help my sister, I could help her. And my brother and I, we had got close because my freshman year of college, I lived in the same apartment as him and his other three friends. I stayed on a futon in the front in the living room.
Hmm.
So me and him, I was literally sleeping right outside of his door. So I had no choice but to see him every single day. But that fostered a unique type of relationship with him that grew into him not only being my brother, but my best friend.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So,
I, I I can say for certain, I feel like that with Coach Wash in class. Like I feel like that's kind of how y'all relationship is. Like that's how it's been since day one. I feel like that's how it is with me and my brother. Like again, it's funny because like-minded individuals,
mhm,
again, we tend to have those same type of mentality when it comes to those same type of morals or those same type of principles or standards. So it's dope to see that you have that same mentality where like am I my brother's keeper? Hell yeah.
yeah,
Like I got like I gotta take care of my brother. That's
yeah,
if I don't do nothing else, that's the one thing I will do is take care of my
yeah.
brother.
And I felt like it was my job to, even though my brother is 4 years older than me, but I've always felt like even when I was in middle school, my brother was in high school. He was probably like a junior. I heard somebody was like messing with him or something. Me and my guys, where they at?
Yeah.
Where they at? So, um, growing up and, fast forward until I was, of course, in my own apartment now, not of his. Every year, I felt like I wanted to do something for my brother, and I know that he likes games. Like we used to play PlayStation all the time. So for every year on his birthday, I would buy him a gaming system because at this point, I think he has kids now. So a lot of his
Hmm.
money is going towards his kids and his family.
Hmm.
I wanted to be able to make enough money in my careers that I again help my family and help my brother, whom I love so much, dearly. I want to buy him, I like pick his brain throughout the year. We like Mike's. What Mike's you looking at?
Hmm.
And his birthday is like right before Christmas. All right, cool. I got him the Flint, what is it? Flint Grays. Got him those,
Okay.
got him PlayStation 3 or whatever. And
Hmm.
I just did it. And I started buying stuff for my nieces and nephews because I want to be able to give back to my family and be able to provide for my family. So it wasn't just about what I could do with the money for myself.
Again, still
So
had a
I
bigger
took
picture in
pride in it.
place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, it's that being consistent, just consistently looking past the small window that a lot of people tend to look at. You consistently looking at the bigger picture on where you want to go and what you want to do.
Mhm.
Let's make this transition now. We are in a tech job. When did we start saying, you know what? I want to start cutting hair?
So once I stopped working for the company out in Aurora, I started working for it's called Arthur J. Gallagher. So I was working in their help desk. It's called a Knocker Network Operating Center.
Hmm.
I was like, I was already cutting my own hair, and people started seeing like, "Oh, can you cut my hair?" And I was like, "Sure." You trust me? They were like,
Right.
well, if you can cut your hair like that, I know you can cut my hair just as good, if not better. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So at this time, I'm living in Maywood, 21st and St. Charles. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
shit, if I'm gonna make some money off of this, let me just go ahead and start doing some house calls.
You're in a
So
prime area.
yeah. So, well, I'm still working at this time, but I'm doing the house calls on the side. So I started scheduling my days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll go out south. Thursday, Friday, I'll go up north. Saturday, Sunday, I'll stay out here out west. So I ain't really got to go nowhere on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And it went from doing that. I'm like, nah, I'm burning up a lot of gas. Let me figure something else out. So I'm like, well, let me try cutting in my house. That was short lived. And so, bro, you gonna get a kick out of this because the one thing that was my deciding factor to stop was that it was, I believe, Super Bowl Sunday. And I had Travis over. They was in there, him and Z. They was watching the game, and I
Mm-hmm.
had a dude over there, and he was getting his hair cut, and he went from talking to just being quiet. And most times people they'll stop talking, and I figured he was watching the game or he was asleep.
Right.
He had a bottle in his hands. I'm like, okay, maybe he just drinking water because I didn't smell nothing. So
Right.
Travis like, hey, Shay. I'm like, what? He's like, look at your boy. Travis, he's silly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's like, look at him. He started doing this. I said, is this man drooling? Like, you drooling on my cable? I was like tapping him like, hey, bro, you need to get up. So I hit him one too many times. I'm like, bro, if I got to keep waking you up, you're going to have to get up out of my chair.
Right.
So he started getting irate, and I was like, yeah, bro, you got to get up out of my house.
Mm.
And he started talking trash, like, so he was drunk. It was some vodka or something that was inside the water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So he kept drinking, and he was like drunk, and he was talking mess. And I'm like, nah, you're not about to be talking to my people like that. You better get up out of here before I put you out.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up like stumbling off somewhere outside of my building. So I was like, at that point, nah, I can't have nobody in my house, because now I'm starting to think about it. I got people in here. I can't have nobody in here because what if somebody run up in here? And then on top of that, I mean, I really didn't have much in there that I could show anybody, but I'm like, it's easy to tell when I'm not home.
They're in your space.
And yeah, they're in my personal space. And now, since that situation, I am more intentional about keeping my personal space. So I'm like, I'm gonna stop cutting until I figure something out. And then it was like, I don't know if things just are ordained, like the way it's been happening. So the day that I said I was gonna stop cutting in my house, somebody reached out to me. The owner of a shop reached out to me and said, hey, I like your work. Cause at that time I've been posting on like Facebook and stuff like that. And well, I'll back it up. Before that, I was cutting inside of a closet of a daycare center because I ended up talking to the owner of one and he gave me a chance. So then after that, they told me, oh, you can't come in here and cut anymore because it might mess up our license. So I'm like, all right, cool. So that's when I started working in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward again, the dude said, hey, come work in my shop. I like your cuts. I've been watching you. I'm like, all right, cool. So it was perfect timing because now I can transition from my house into a shop and I can still work because it was on my own hours. So working, I was 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at work. And then from 4 p.m. to whenever I felt like leaving, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, because, the shop's back at the crib, people just in there hanging out.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So the more I started cutting, the more people started coming in, the walk-ins and all of that. And I was really heavy. Like I was really heavy on marketing myself on Facebook. And that's at the time where Facebook was like really popping before Instagram became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the it just like lit a fire, and everybody just started coming to me. And I started doing a little clothing line, like a barber clothing line, and I guess people just liked my personality, and one thing led to another, and I was like one of the best barbers in Chicago, or at least on the West Side.
No, you said it right, bro.
And yeah, yeah.
You said it
Nah,
right, bro.
see this,
You said it right, bro.
I've been wearing hats ever since I could never get back to shape. I can't even.
He too far away
My
from here,
bad,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, I need to go get on a couple flights to get to you, bro. Like I missed you when you were out this
So,
way.
look, I was there for a minute. I was in Houston for a
Oh, I
minute. I was
know.
cutting for 9 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here 10 years, and I think I first I first came to you probably after being here probably early on when you was here then. I feel like I was
Mhm.
here maybe a couple years
Yeah.
before I found out about you. Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
so it was crazy because like you said, you had looked down the barrel of a gun, and one day I'm walking in Maywood, just and I've done this plenty of times, going, go to the gas station,
Mm-hmm.
grabbing something to eat, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and just walking home. And one time somebody felt, a little froggy, and they got thirsty, and next thing I know, I'm looking down the barrel of a gun. And all he could get up out of me was a cell phone and a couple dollars. I'm like, for real? You that thirsty? So I had in my head that I'm not about to be dealing with this no more. So I ended up going to purchase a gun legally. I had my tan license, and I went to the gun store, and I was like, I I was in the mindset of, if something happened again, it's gonna be me or you. And I got to thinking, I'm like, I got so much more to live for. I still have, my brother, my mother, my sister. I got my friends and stuff that truly care about me. So I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss myself. And I was like, I'm gonna just go back to Texas. And my friends thought I was playing, and I told them 6 months before I did it. I
Mm-hmm.
said, yeah, I'm gonna move back down to Texas. They was like, oh yeah, whatever, whatever. I loaded up a U-Haul by myself. I was
Gone.
supposed to get some help from my friends, but they ain't come through for whatever reason.
They ain't believe you though. They
But
ain't believe
no, literally, and it was snowing, so it was
you.
the end of December. Loaded up a U-Haul by myself. I rode 15, 16 hours down to Dallas. Yep.
That
And
Took a
just
simple.
flight,
started over.
came back to get my car, and then drove back
So,
down. Yep.
so
And
that's a different build, man.
look,
I
I was
don't think
determined.
people, that determination is a different build. Like real determination is a different build. I don't think people really understand. That's why I love your backstory, and I'm still learning right now on the pod. But man, it's like you make up your mind and you move.
Yes.
And a lot of people just think. They don't make up their mind. They
They
just
just stay
think.
stagnant. We just
They're
gonna
stagnant. And I
we
mean, a
just
lot of
Yeah.
time I understand it's fear, but like I can never understand it because I moved to Houston and that was a 2 week decision. That
yeah.
was that was with wife and two
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I
I
had
remember you calling me and telling me,
man,
bro, like
I
it was
came
a
down here.
quick
I came down
conversation.
here for the first time for a wedding. I was in the wedding, my homie wedding. And I was like, man, Houston kind of cool, but I always wanted to leave Illinois anyway. I wasn't
Mhm.
planning to stay. So it was trying to convince my wife at the time, my ex-wife now, but I was like, we came down. I was like, what you think about this? It's, still a big city,
Mhm.
but it's more laid back. Things kind of spread out a little bit more, not stacked on top of each other. It's a decent vibe. And so like, yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it some more, revisit, put some money aside. And like a week later, my cousin, she was down here. She comes back home and she's like, I mentioned it to her. She knew I was down here. And then we worked for the same company at the time. She was like, hey, you know, a road similar to yours is opening up at a location down there. I was like, say word. And so I look online, I see it posted. I'm like, I let the wife, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot my shot at this. What you think? She was like, I'm like, what you think? Like if I get it.
Yeah.
And I already knew. I said if I get an interview, it's over with.
Gone. Gone.
And I got an interview and I was like, I already started playing it. Like I'm online, I'm checking moving companies. I'm, who can store, pack and
Mhm.
store. I had already started doing the research. Then I was like, at the time I was we were living in Naperville. I was renting a condo there. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to get up out this lease. I'm like, dang, I work everything out. I was like, I went through the interview, 2, 3 interviews within a week. They was like, yeah, you got it. My boss was, how fast can you get down? She's like, it's 2 weeks possible. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I said,
I'm gonna
yeah.
make it work.
To her wife, she was like, are you serious? And I'm like, she just agreeing with things, not realizing like, boom.
How
I'm
fast
like,
it's about
yo,
to move.
yeah. I'm like, man,
Stuff
I'm
is happening.
about to pack this house. We gone. I hollered at my landlord. Very understanding. He was like, man, you got a job opportunity. You got to do what's best for the family. He was like, we'll work out a deal. I'm not going to charge you for breaking the lease, which was like 2 months rent
Oh,
to
that was
break.
love.
Mhm.
And so he was like, this is what we do. He said, while you packing, try to keep everything in decent order.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start listing it. I'm gonna start showing it. He said, if I can get somebody to secure this spot right after you leave, we won't have to honor that agreement. You ain't got to pay me no extra. We
That's
good.
love.
Man, I painted the walls in that mud. I did what he would have did. Like
Yeah.
I had it clean. And I was pretty much showing it sometimes. People were coming by and I'll still be there. And he was like, so and so pulling up. I'm like, all right, I'll be getting ready to leave. And they pull up early. One lady even was like, wow, I would love to have you as a tenant. Like I had never seen nobody keep a property this clean. And
Mhm.
2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks. I was down here. They were
Man was
still,
determined.
yeah. And it was decisions just like that. This is how I move. So I can't understand like I don't I've never been in that mind state though, where it's like Steve like once I make up my mind, like it's times where I will sit on something. I
Mhm.
toy with an idea. But I'm like, once I switch, oh, it's
It's over.
done. It's done. We
It's
moving.
rocket ship.
Yeah.
It's
We
rocket ship at that
we
point.
gone. Yeah.
That's
So
that's what's up.
Coach Josh, let's
Yes, sir.
let's 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 go back because we could talk about we can go ahead and start going into a whole bunch of detail on that piece.
Hmm.
But let's take it back to you getting back into your getting back into cutting hair full time. You said you're not now had a situation happen in the house. I don't blame you. That's a very slippery slope when you start cutting out of your house or doing any work for that matter when you
Hmm.
have customers coming to your house,
Yeah.
period. So that's already a sketchy situation as is. So making that transition, what was the gateway to start opening up the now I can start doing this, in a shop situation? Because now you got the offer at that point, right?
Hmm. So once he gave me that opportunity, I just that very next day, I just moved my stuff in. And we worked out a deal. He was like, you just starting out. And I really didn't have much of a solid clientele. But he was like, for the time being, for the first
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks, I'll give you the first week free, and then we can kind of like build our way up to what the normal booth rent would be. And I was like, that's cool. I appreciate it. which I could pay it anyway because I had my job. But yeah, it was cool, and I built up my social media presence decent amount enough to transition, you know. And once I moved to Dallas, I was like, I want to make this a real thing. Now, mind you, I wasn't licensed yet. So he did me a favor by allowing me to cut in there without a license. So I'm like, you know, that you did that on the love. So I appreciate that. So I'm like, well, I need to make this official. So when I moved down to Dallas, I immediately enrolled into barber school. I stayed in Dallas for a solid 6 months, and I was like, yeah, I don't like it here. And at the time, I was dating a girl that was from Houston, and I was burning up 45 every weekend. So I'm like, I like Houston already. I go to Houston every weekend. So let me just go ahead and make this move. Put in a transfer. I finished school in Dallas, in Houston, and I was cutting in a shop. And when I tell you, your network is the most important thing that you could possibly have. And I don't know if y'all heard of him before, but I played ball with him in Robert Morris. His name was Carlos Hurt. He's originally from A-Leaf, and he played at Louisville for a little while. When I say this man was a phenomenal ball player, he even played overseas in China and everything. So he knew the owner of a shop in A-Leaf, Texas. And I called him because I told him, I was like, you know, I moved down to Houston. He's like, oh shit, man, I got you. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So he's like, I got you. He's like, I'm gonna make a call right quick, and yeah, I'm gonna work it out. Man, I'll tell you, no lie. The next day he was like, yeah, you can come in and cut here. I was like, but you know I don't have a license, right? He was like, yeah, I know, but I'm like, I'm in school and I'm working on it. He was like, yeah, don't worry about it. A blessing. And at this time, I was still in tech because I started working for Cisco, the food corporation. And then I transitioned over into working for IBM because they ended up buying out my department. I finished with my my barber license, passed the test, the written test and the test where you got to do the hair cutting and making sure that you know how to work with the chemicals and everything, pass it with flying colors. I'm like, okay. So I think fast forward maybe a year, and something on Instagram blew up and my following went crazy, and I just started getting more and more clients. And then next thing I know, somebody hit me up about getting an award for 40 under 40 best barbers in Houston. I'm like, word? And then I started networking with barbers all over the country, and I'm going to Atlanta to the Bronner Brothers, and then I got put on this team, and I ended up in Arizona somewhere, I think Phoenix, and I'm platform barber, and I'm doing a little contest here and there, and I just started to progress. And I was hanging out in the city a lot too, and this is like post, you know, relationship that I had. So I was like really moving around the city, and I guess I had a name for myself. So everywhere I went, like people knew who I was, which is odd for me because I don't like being in the spotlight. But it was cool because I got a chance to gain a lot of resources and a lot of friends. And I've even gained resources that I knew I couldn't use, but I was able to pass it along to somebody else, and they were able to foster their relationship and make some type of business deal. And that just gave me joy in itself. Like I don't want to gatekeep information or resources when I know that somebody else can utilize it. Like I don't gain anything from keeping some information from somebody else that could benefit from it.
Facts.
Man, it ain't enough. It's not for us anyway.
No,
A
it's
lot of
not.
people they don't understand that.
It's called a gift for a reason.
Yep. Gotta
It's
share
called
it.
a gift for a reason. You got to share it. You know what's funny? And I want to go back to really quick. I want to go back to the very beginning and literally watch this progression. Like if
Mhm.
anybody is listening to this podcast and you get a chance to listen to Coach Josh talk about his progression from early stage, early childhood, having the immense amount of trauma that you've gone through, the ups and the downs that you've gone through, everything that you've seen and
Mhm.
still made the better decision. I'm not gonna say right or wrong for anybody out there because I don't want anybody to think like, oh, that was the right decision or the wrong decision. You made a better decision that put you in a
Mhm.
better situation, and then you made another better decision, and then you made another better decision. That consistency that you consistently went through, I think that is what people need to really understand what it really takes for a person to actually consistently make a better decision.
Mhm.
And you are a spitting image of that, a spitting image of that. And I think when you consistently do that for yourself and you're not looking for the return, you get immensely blessed, which is why the following came, which is why the opportunity came, which is why everything consistently lines up for you because you're doing it. You found your purpose. And when you
Mhm.
find your purpose, like literally stuff just start clicking at that point.
Yeah, life changes once you realize your purpose. But I don't want to sit here and act like I didn't mess up along the way. I was just
Of
intentional
course.
about what I wanted. Um, I took some chances on some stuff and it didn't work out. Trying to get money any way I could to pay rent or to eat or get gas or having car troubles. Anybody that's lived a hard life and you know that you try to do things to make it happen.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I've been able to be put in positions to get ahead myself so that I can help others.
You were
I
chosen
think
from the
again,
jump.
that's exactly that's the
It's,
part.
it's always they say you don't even like the spotlight, and it's usually the people that don't.
Mm.
Those are the ones
Yeah,
that get turned on to it.
it's biblical.
It's like a circle.
Yeah. None of them like the spotlight. They never do. People God
True
choose
enough.
never want the light.
I think and it's funny because I just told this to my wife. I said and I can't remember what Bible verse this is, but or if this is a Bible verse, but I know I
Mhm.
hear it all the time. God does not give his hardest task to his lowliest his hardest task. God gives his hardest task to his lowliest warriors.
I've heard that.
They
Yeah.
understand being at the bottom, so they understand the hardship. So you understand how to either work through it or you just gonna let it crush you.
Yeah, and it ain't always easy
No, it's not.
because it's still stuff even to this day I question. I'm like, why you have me doing this? And I'm not, and you probably can read from what I gave you. I'm not religious by any means. However, I am spiritual. I do believe in a higher being. So I do pray, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what do you have me here for? Like, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Hmm. You know, what's something that I've taken away from multiple different pods, and then even just hearing your story, like it when I find myself praying, I find myself more so now praying to just say thank you,
Yeah.
like for the situation, for the problem, for the issue, for the blessing, for the whatever. Just thank you. I couldn't. I probably. I don't need to be here, right? I,
Hmm.
I don't you could take me away from this so I wouldn't have that issue, that problem, that whatever it may be. So I think again, you going through everything you've gone through, just anybody for that matter, going through what they're going through, start looking at it a little bit in a different light. Not so much in the, I'm in a negative connotation. Like, yeah, this is bad. This is terrible. Like, this is it's easy to go, woe is me.
Mhm.
It's super easy to do that. But it says something about your character. It says something about your own self-worth. It says something about, your actual motor when you say, no, I'm gonna do something different. No, I'm a push through. I'm gonna get through this. I understand that this is just a season, right?
Yeah.
And I think you've been through multiple different seasons and been able to kind of transition and find the success and find the life goals out of that.
Mhm.
So you finding all of these gems and finding all of these nuggets now and being able now to pass this along, what do you tell that aspiring high school kid that is cutting hair in the hallway or, cutting hair, in the,
Locker room.
about in the locker room
Yeah.
because we don't remember. I remember those days.
Hmm.
What do you tell that kid that doesn't think this is a real opportunity for them? Like mom and dad probably telling me like I probably need to get a quote unquote real job, and this is a passion of mine.
When I tell you, I've heard that so many times. But what I would tell them is that you can make barbering into a lifestyle. You can make it into a career. You can make it into a company. You can make it into literally anything that you want it to be. You don't have to be stuck behind a chair. If this is something that you want to do, know that I don't want to lead with money, but obviously, people don't do this stuff for free. There
Right.
is a lot of money in it. There is a lot of resources in it. There are a lot of opportunities, streams of income, and it could lead you down several different roads of success. So if this is something that you really want to do, be intentional about it. When I say I wanted to learn to be the best barber that I could possibly be, I studied pictures, I studied videos, um, I studied my own work just to make sure that, there's something that I need to tweak, something I need to get better. There's always room for improvement. I I I spent hours upon hours looking at stuff. Even when I was working in my tech job, I'm looking at videos on YouTube of barbers and, I felt that were better than me or, in one way or another. And I took that and I knew what I was good at. And then I just brought it all together and I kept working on getting progressively better. But I want them to understand it's not just about being able to cut good, because I know some people that are phenomenal barbers can cut any type of hair with their eyes closed, and they can be better than 90% of the people out there. But because their personality or their customer service is trash, they ain't going nowhere. So to me, the skill is only a small fraction of the business or the type of career that you can have in barbering. And Lloyd can tell you himself, and he probably came to me or stayed with me because of the type of environment that I created, the type of conversation, the level of comfortability that I gave my clients. I don't care if you white, red, blue, green, gay, straight, in between. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You can sit in this chair, and this time that you are allotted, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be quiet. You can watch a movie. You can listen to TV. Music, or we can talk about whatever. And people have been comfortable enough to talk to me about literally anything. There's a lot of stuff that I know about people that I really probably have no idea or have no business knowing, but they felt
Hmm.
comfortable with me because set that I set that tone. And there's people that were probably better than me because of what the type of experience that I gave them. They were comfortable with it. So that retention, it stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's marketing 101.
Hands down.
All y'all listen up. Sell yourself. First thing Dr. Jones told me, Steve,
Man.
that,
Good
that
old
was
Dr. Jones,
that
man.
was one of our marketing professors back at
Okay.
Benedictine. But she that's the first lesson, first marketing class I had. She was my professor. She was like, sell yourself.
It's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Sell yourself, because in sales, they'll tell you if you do like a straight sales job, they be like, people buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't buy the product. At the end of the day, the same thing you just said about their skill, it go with anything. Like you can actually have the best product, you can have the best price, and not make the sale because of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
People gonna buy from you. I make
Again,
friends before I sell anything. We gonna be cool before we even get the business.
Yeah.
well,
By the
I
time
can't
we
I can't
by the
just
time
randomly sell you something, bro.
Now, by the time we circle back around to the product, I ain't even got to talk about it no more. Man, what you need? What
Yeah,
what we
Exactly.
yeah.
what we doing? You know?
That's
Um,
exactly how it goes.
yep.
You understand you providing a service, and that's the biggest thing. Like you want that same type of service, that same type of environment. If you were going to go get your haircut, if you were going to go, be sold something in general, right? You want to provide that same type of environment. And you doing that again, that's why your retention is so high. That's why, again, people, this as well as I do. The black community don't play when it comes to a barber. Like if this
Oh
is the
no.
barber that I go to, this is the barber that I go to. If you leave, then man, I'm just gonna be assed out for a little while until I
Yeah.
find the right person again. Like so it's great that again you are setting an example for for a lot of kids that want that opportunity or didn't think again still don't think that that is a lucrative opportunity, and it
Mhm.
truly is. It's
Oh,
been
it
life
is.
changing for you. It's been absolutely life changing for you.
Yeah,
Before we
that's
close out, before,
I got another question.
I was gonna say,
We
Coach, you gotta give us
hit me
your
with it.
last few questions because we getting close on time.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. Nah, I want you to tell people about. I want to know where you taking your fitness journey. So, Coach Josh been getting swole. Where we going with it? We about to compete?
Wait, yeah, I was gonna say because I know this was a few years ago. I know this was a few years ago, and if memory serves, I believe you broke a PR like in 2022
Oh, with deadlift. Yeah.
with your
That
deadlift,
was a
right?
personal PR. Yeah.
How much was that?
That was
Was it
six
560?
no, that was 565. I beat that already. I probably didn't
Yeah,
40.
yeah. I've been seeing some of them bars.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I I
Yeah,
don't.
bro.
Yeah, I don't even
I've
know
been
what
working
I don't know what I can max right now on deadlift. I ain't tried
with
in a
that.
while.
I know we
I
ain't.
think
I
the
know
last
I'm not at five. I'm not at no five right now.
I
I
can
know
get
that.
five. I know I can get five because the last thing I repped was 415 or something
Okay.
like that. It was probably 405, I think. But now rep that. I did that 5 times. So I could have did more. So I probably could still hit five. But
Pretty sure you could.
yeah, I don't know if I'm touching anything you lifting
Five
right now.
560. Yeah, 565 was 2 years
I
ago.
mean, I just
He
be seeing
crushed that right now.
I just see the clips and I
Yeah.
just see he is occupied all the plates in the gym to do his workout, and I'm like, I don't want no parts of it. But are you
But
gonna compete at all?
I would like to. I'll have to get me a coach first.
Okay.
Yeah, that would take it to a different level. And I kind of moved away. Well, once I moved to Columbia, they kind of put things on hold. So I'm I'm working on stuff, but if I can, my goal is to definitely compete in powerlifting.
Powerlifting, okay. I was gonna ask specifically, it was powerlifting, right? But no physique type stuff, right?
Nah, I don't feel like putting my body through that.
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's
say
crazy to me.
Coach Ryan could get you right on that one. But I do have somebody that specializes in powerlifting.
Please
Oh,
pass
you
the
talking
information
about
along.
who you talking about?
Oh, I'm not giving him Sergo. No,
I was gonna
uh,
say that ain't gonna be no good
that that's
match.
that's that's a little
Yeah,
much.
that ain't gonna
But
be a
I
good
do
match.
have somebody that's what he does. He's a man is good. I'll definitely make sure offline to pass you his
Sure
info.
that, sure that.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, but outside of that, I'm looking to hopefully build my platform to where I can get some type of brand deals and partnerships with some companies, supplement companies or um, fitness companies, and see if I can create some type of stream of income from that.
That's
Awesome.
what's up. That's what's up.
So you pretty much when you go into your shop, you're gonna have a squat rack somewhere in that shop. A couple chairs and a
That
squat
that would
rack.
be love.
That would
That
be
would be
dope.
love. Yeah.
You can just get a couple reps in after, get a cut, go get a couple reps in. Coach Wash, any last minute questions? Any last questions before we get ready to close out, sir?
Nah, I ain't gonna keep cutting you off and throwing nothing in there.
I'm just
Um,
saying, bro. You
Hey, look,
just saying,
I'm
bro.
enjoying the conversation. We can talk all night.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why we got to get this Patreon going. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a Patreon coming soon
yes,
where
sir.
we can be talking after hours a little bit more, where we be a little bit more laid back than we are than the structured podcast we usually do.
I do have another question.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
It's food related.
Yeah.
Where you go to get the Polish? Tell the people when they pull up to Chicago, what stand they need to go to and get a Polish.
Oh, I'm
Polish
going
sausage for
Maxwell's.
the
I was gonna
Maxwell's.
say you have to clarify that.
Specify
Yes.
Specify.
Maxwell's.
So
And can we narrow down a
there's two of them that I go to. One off of 290 in Independence, and
Mm-hmm.
one that's off of that's in the Loop. That's right by UIC.
Yes.
Yep, the
Yep.
by the pavilion.
Right by the
Yeah,
pavilion.
UIC pavilion.
yeah.
Do not,
That's
It's
what
for
two
Jewtown.
stands over there. It's
Jewtown.
yes,
two stand Jewtown. That's for the Chicago people. But if
yes,
y'all ain't from Chicago, and it's open all day, all night,
24 hours a day, 7
24
days a week.
hours. It's gonna be two stands for some
Yep.
reason, and maybe they closed the other one by now. I don't know. I ain't been in a while.
It's been a
I ain't,
minute. I ain't seen.
nah, I've
I
been
think they
off
both
port
still
for a
over
long
there.
time too. So, but one, you will clearly know, don't go to that stand. It's gonna look like, oh, it's easy. Ain't no line over there. But
Don't go there. Don't go there.
it's a reason.
Gee,
There's a
that's the one that's on the
reason.
left, ain't it?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
one
that's
to
on
the
the left
left.
side. That's on the left.
One
Go to
to
the
the
one on the
left.
right.
The one on the
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. We you already know.
Yep.
Oh man, it's like I'm going over there. You made a
All right.
mistake. You made a
Let me know how
mistake.
that works.
You made a mistake.
I don't say nothing.
Just don't eat the fries. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
They
they
had the
throw them in
Polish.
there.
Throw the fries out.
I had to be under the influence to eat them fries.
Yeah, you can't
Hey,
read
look,
those either.
sometimes that was the only reason why I was down there.
Was the
Yeah.
fries?
No,
Or I was gonna
being
say,
under the
okay,
influence.
Oh yeah.
okay, I got you, got you.
Oh yeah. That was definitely 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
True
you
enough.
so up, you go down there.
And you risking life and limb for some for Polish, but
You are,
Hey,
it was worth
but
it when you got
you
it.
came out unscathed.
Yes, you
that's
did.
that's right.
Coach Josh, before we get out of here, bros, drop your handles. How can people get in touch with you? Who have not already gotten in touch with you? Because I know again you cracking 75K over here. So who have not seen you? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, I've changed my page to iq.lifts. That's ique.lifts. and it's the same handle on TikTok as well.
Awesome, awesome.
I'll see all them plates missing in the gym.
Man.
You know where to find them.
There you go.
Right.
Where all the plates are missing. Coach Wash, you got a piece for us today?
I got two-piece.
Oh boy.
One
2-piece
is
and a biscuit.
one is it's perfect for what we just talked about. So one is recently written, so bear with me. We're gonna try to get through it clean. And then the other one is it's a oldie but goodie. Brooklyn, you may remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
But they go together. All right, so this one called Something in Me. Never claim a game, but the Lord in my veins. Grew up in the hood screaming money ain't a thing. Crazy because the block was clearly short on some change. Grandpa preaching on the stoop because we really need a change. Demons moving packs, hard workers getting framed. Crooked cops on the books, ain't no snitching who you blame. This is Ghetto USA, devil teaching you no shame. Families get destroyed daily, cop a rock for the pain. Leaders now lost, popping rocks in their veins. God had me covered, so I fight against the flames. But I still must admit some indulgence of the game. Calculated 5%, so the most ain't the same. Got consciousness, so emotions kept me sane. Cared for my brother, so I'm never playing Kane. Blessed to have parents saying, son, please refrain. Mom, dad, granny, Grand Lloyd in my frame.
My man. My man.
Yeah, bars.
He got all the bars over there. Said he ain't dime dropping.
Well,
I
had to follow up. We ain't got the dime drop.
Oh, man, this sound like a whole bunch of change dropping right now.
Look.
So we got but this Brooklyn also know unhealthy relationship. So you're gonna know it right away, Steve. I saw you. You were beauty once upon a time. I grew to know you for your scars. Raped by brick and mortar, pained by traces of shells laid across your sacred areas of life, ruined by desensitized angels turned demons. You see no love, you covered in blood. Now home to death rather than the creator. Now a witness of turmoil. Death of mind, death of many. Is there love? Is there any? Yes. See, I left you for love and peace are the closest thing to it. I can no longer swim through your deadly waters. I can no longer suffer with you. So I headed west away from common grounds, and I say I wish I can give you this feeling away from corners where people rob and kill to make a living. See, she gave me my first joyful, memorable moments, quiet nights of sleep, first humane perspective on life. So I had to love you from afar, from the earth to a star, from dirty waters to clean brooks. Shout out Bolingbrook.
Yes.
Oh,
Brooklyn album.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out class. Absolutely. Well, another one in the books. Coach Josh, I definitely appreciate it. I know Coach Wash, we definitely appreciate you coming out and having a great conversation with us today and giving us again your story and how you consistently, and I want people to hear this, that consistent word, you consistently grew, consistently made a better decision for yourself. So again, I love the story. I hope more people, I hope everybody that's listening, or at least it affects one person, to get them to make that same decision to just do something better for themselves. Just try it. Just watch what happens when you start doing it for yourself. Like magically the floodgates open. And you're a testament to that, Coach Joshua. So thank you so much for joining the pod today. Definitely appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Again, if you like what you we vastly appreciate you, brother. We got to have you back for a part 2 for sure.
Please do.
Yes.
I know Coach Luna is gonna have definitely got some questions right now.
Yeah,
I know he
gotta
got
have
some
him
questions.
back with Luna. Yeah,
Absolutely, definitely got to have you back for that. Again, if you like what you heard, smack that like and subscribe button. We definitely appreciate the support. Definitely see the comments picking up a little bit. Also, again, the merch sales going up. So keep on getting that merch. Definitely appreciate that. Again, you helping us out by again supporting the brand and supporting the cause right now. So again, keep it going. Definitely appreciate you guys. And as always, stay positive, my friends.